LeBron James has a big game. He and the Lakers taking on the New York Knickerbockers. And it's going down. It's a great game, fourth quarter, competitive. But in the fourth quarter, there was a moment that didn't have anything to do with the game at hand, Kerry. That was LeBron and Stephen A. Having a moment there, which we couldn't really tell in real time. Someone posted it. It's kind of weird because it like blew up later, throughout the night.
Yep.
Because it seemed like just a fan got a great shot of it really quick, maybe no more than 7-8 seconds. And boom, it goes and it takes off. So essentially, the National Mouth Readers Association, and I just made that up, kind of can you get to the point, and then Stephen A. will talk about it, so you hear that in a moment, but that LeBron essentially said, hey, man, keep my son's name out your mouth. Yeah. And he said it in an unusual LeBron way, meaning LeBron, no matter what players, you've seen players slam him on the court, you've seen players talk about him, he kind of takes it very politically correct, or he'll get up from a hard foul and kind of shake it off. He doesn't go at guys. You've never seen him fight, really.
Right.
He was in Stephen A. Smith like he wanted all the smoke.
Yeah.
Like all of the smoke.
Yeah, he wanted the smoke.
And it was first, you kind of like, it was jarring because that's typically not LeBron.
Yeah.
So you're kind of like, whoa. But again, you're talking about someone's son. But here's what Stephen A. had to say today on First Take.
That wasn't a basketball player confronting me. That was a parent. That was a father. And I can't sit here and be angry or feel slighted by LeBron James in any way in that regard. By all accounts, he's obviously a wonderful family man and a wonderful father who cares very, very deeply about his son. And based on some of the comments that he had heard, or shall I say I think he thought he heard, he clearly took exception to some of the things that he heard me say, and he confronted me about it.
He went on to say that if the roles were reversed as a father, Stephen A. Smith was saying,
Yep.
I cannot definitively say I wouldn't have done the same thing. Meaning, if I were LeBron, would I have not confronted said reporter, who had said things about me? This is an interesting conversation because we're in an interesting time where we're starting to see so many players in the NBA. We knew their sons, right? We got Scottie Pippen Jr. Playing pretty well out there in Memphis. Obviously, Klay Thompson has a Hall of Fame career. Michael Thompson, his father. Steph Curry, Dale Curry. It's normal. Tim Hardaway Jr. We have a bunch of guys in the league, and those are the fathers' names we know. There's a bunch of other fathers who you didn't really know because he was 8th, 9th, 10th man on the team, but his son's in the league. You just don't know that you didn't know him.
For sure.
And so now we're getting in this era where guys are, we're talking about players' sons that we knew, and you see and you're connected to, or maybe you have a relationship with, in this case, Stephen A. with LeBron. And we don't know the exact thing that he said that may have tick LeBron off, right? But I do think what I found interesting was, and I got to give some love to Stephen A. Smith, because I know he takes a lot of flack, and a lot of people go at him about certain things, but I was actually shocked because you know what I expected? I'm doing my morning show. I'm up early. He sends out a tweet about an hour before First Take, and he says, I didn't want to address this, but I have to. We're going to do it on First Take, and my Stephen A. Smith show on YouTube, And I'm like, oh, boy. And, Alex, you know what I thought was coming. Look at me. Put the camera on me. Let me tell you something right now. I know you.
That's good.
I'm not scared of you. I ain't going no. I thought it was going to be that. The scathed
that.
earth. You don't even know me. Tough guy, Stephen A.
Darkwing Duck.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That was actually pretty shocking for me that he turned it around and said, hey, man, as a father, I get it. As a father, I wasn't talking about your son. I thought I was talking about you, LeBron, is what he said. But I can see as a father where you feel some type of way about this. Now, what I also will say is LeBron James for the remainder of the next, whether it be 1 year, 2 year, 20-year career of Bronny, this is par for the course, meaning he is now going to get criticism. He's going to get criticism about his game. He might even get criticism about the way he handles. What are we talking about with Luka? He's out of shape. Right. Maybe they say Bronny needs to get in better shape. Maybe he needs to do that. These things are happening and these things are coming, and this is part of the thing with a professional athlete. Now, it is uncanny how much he gets scrutiny or even conversation for a 55th pick. Right. But that is because his name is LeBron James Jr.
Yes.
So I'll say this and I'll toss it over to you, Kerry. I was blown away the way Stephen A. Smith had it. I totally thought he was going to go skate, burn the earth down. He didn't. I also was shocked at how LeBron ran up on him like that, because that's very much unlike LeBron, which lets me know, and I think is what let Stephen A. Smith know, it struck a personal nerve.
Yes.
And not just a basketball
And
nerve.
this has been bubbling underneath the surface for a long time, right?
That was if I ever see you, it's on.
This isn't an isolated event, right? It's an isolated event because he was at the game, but this has been brewing for a while, right? But I just go back to LeBron. He brought this on himself. The heliocentric culture that is LeBron James. Mm-hmm. Everything that happens around him is coordinated.
100%.
Everything is staged.
100%.
Everything is in his control. And so when something isn't in his control, he doesn't like it. Even just take this just to have this perspective. Stephen A. said it earlier. He can't text LeBron directly, but he's one person away.
Yeah.
And that can happen both ways. So if he really wanted to have a moment like he had the other night, he could have texted him, and they could have had their moment outside of the cameras. LeBron did that in the fourth quarter against the Knicks, knowing that everybody's going to see it and know that Stephen A. is not going to come back at him in that moment. So, again, it's control. It's contrived.
It is.
So I always have a problem with that when it comes to LeBron. I can't get around that idea. Love him as a player. What he's done for the game, I believe, has been really good for the most part. Mm-hmm. But he's at that stage now where he feels like he hasn't gotten his just due, which is crazy to me because he's
been
gotten
on top
his just
for 20
due.
years. There's no more on top you can go.
No, just play basketball, enjoy that your son's in the league because people are going to talk about your son in the league. Yeah. He's there because other guys, if they would have been in Bronny's position, would not be playing day one in an NBA game. It's just part of what he did.
And add to it, Kerry, not only that, they wouldn't be necessarily playing with the Lakers franchise, and, oh, by the way, at the exact same time their father's playing.
And in game one.
Knowing
he's not ready.
And not have to go to the G League. They'll do home games here and then not travel and do this and do that. So, listen, when there are special circumstances, it's going to cause for special criticism or attention.
Yes.
If Bronny gets drafted and he goes to, I'm looking at Memphis right now, and he's the 55th pick, and LeBron kind of chooses to do more of a, hey, that's on him, I'm just let him lead, he's going to grow, he's going to be on his own, and it kind of goes away a little bit. Not extreme, because he's still LeBron James Jr.
For sure.
But he's on the same team with him. He plays day one. He sticks with the team when everybody else at this point goes to the G League and has to earn it and kind of grow through it. And I'm not saying he's been putting in work down there when he's there.
Yes.
I was a strong proponent of him going down there, killing the G League for the rest of the year and coming back up, Yeah. But I do think there's a part of LeBron where you're not being fair to the given circumstances. He comes into the league. He's your son. He had a health scare the year before, so it wasn't that he even played that great the year before, right? But that's fine. The Lakers chose to draft him. That's fine. That was their decision.
That's fine, yeah.
But he's going to the team while you're playing. You are a special, unique, one-of-a-kind player. We talk about you for the last 20-plus years.
Right.
These are special circumstances that make for fodder, make for conversation. And you're involved. We're going to talk about it. Now, I do think there's an element. I don't know that Stephen A. ever said anything personal that was disrespectful for him. And the last point I'll make, Kerry, is this can't just be about Bronny to me. I do think there may be an element of more so also, are you questioning my parenting skills?
Yeah, you said off there, yeah.
You get what I mean? Because Stephen A. has actually never really, to my knowledge, and I went back and listened to things, said anything flagrant or out of bounds about Bronny.
He wouldn't.
He would, because that's not, as much as people don't like Stephen A., he doesn't make things personal.
He made it personal once with Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, that's and they squared that away.
They did.
But you're right. I'll give you that.
Yep.
But I think Bron took offense to the idea that you're maybe saying I'm not putting my son in the proper position.
Yeah.
Or I'm not doing what's best or right by my son. And I think that maybe offended him.
Yeah.
More so than the actual basketball criticism of Bronny.
And when you said that off air, it made sense. I mean, I'm not a father, but I would get that. Like I've been around enough to see that if you mess with somebody's kids.
Yeah, and you're questioning how I'm parenting or if I'm putting him in the best position, that I know what's best for my son, that hits a little different than just, Bronny can't make a jump shot. All right, whatever.
Exactly.
All right. I mean, it hurts because it's your kid, but all right, he's got to deal with this either way.
Yeah.
Bronny shouldn't be in the NBA. I know they were going to say that anyway. But if you start questioning, I'm doing what's best for him, or I don't know what's right for him, or I'm putting him in bad positions, I think that's where it maybe becomes a little bit personal.
Yeah.
877-99 on Fox. LeBron and Stephen A. Smith, what did you make of that? And did LeBron have a lot of people online are saying, hey, man, He's a father first.
Yeah.
Some are saying, hey, Bronny's a relatively grown man, if you will. He's in the league. He can be on his own. Some people are mad at Stephen A. saying you should have said more.